Hello, Lena. Hello, everyone. Hello, Greg and Susan. Hello, hello. I'm not here by myself, though. We've got the amazing Chef Kat on the chat. Say hello, Chef Kat.
Hi, Chef Jenny.
Hi, Chef Kat. Say hello to Chef Kat, y'all. She's the best, and she's in charge. She's running the chat for us. So if you have any questions, throw them in the chat, direct them towards Kat. She's helping run this whole fun show. I always feel like food is so much better with more people. I mean, I've eaten a pizza by myself on the couch. It's a good time, but it's so much better when you have a large group of friends with you. And today we've got friends with us. Some of us are our most favorite friends in the world, the incredible, wonderful people at the American Diabetes Association. So please say hello and welcome the incredible Liz. Liz is here with us from ADA. She's going to be answering all of your wonderful questions. She is the smartest person in this chat, so we thank her for being here. This is a really wonderful and very cool thing, because how many of us get a nutritionist right at our fingertips to ask whatever questions we want? She's going to be here during the whole class. Whatever questions you might have, throw them in the chat, especially because why we're so happy and proud to do these classes with the ADA is that more than 37 million people in the US have diabetes. Everyone here in our office is definitely touched by diabetes in some way, whether we have family members, people we love who have it. I'm sure all of you do too. And overall, just learning more about nutritious, healthy, mindful cooking is good for everyone. That's all something I know we all strive for. So most important thing is that we have fun, and we are going to have fun today, because cooking shouldn't feel like a chore. Cooking should be fun, and eating healthy should be fun. And we've got a really fun recipe. We are going to grill up some nice lean pork chops. We're making this beautiful seasonal peach salsa that we're going to put over the top of it. And then we've got an incredible poppy seed, lemon, herby, buttermilk dressing that we're going to make from scratch, and then poured over this beautiful salad of dark leafy greens and avocado, seeds, feta, blueberries, all the good stuff. So my mouth is watering. How about you, Chef Kat? Are you?
I love a good pork chop. I'm ready.
Who doesn't love a pork chop? My mom was a master at cooking pork chops. She was really, really good. She is really, really good. Hopefully you have the same experience. I know some of us may have suffered from a syndrome of dry pork chop growing up. It's an unfortunate occurrence. They can get really dry and overcook if you don't know what you're doing, but we're going to talk you through it today and hopefully maybe heal some pork chop trauma out there and have really good, really fresh, very moist pork chops. So should we start getting cooking? You guys all ready? Yeah? Hands up, ready? Okay, let's get going. Again, if you have any questions, throw it in the chat. Chef Kat's there. She's going to help us along. So the first thing I'm going to start making here and working on is our peach salsa. I've got 2 beautiful fresh peaches here. Skin on. There's a lot of good fiber in the skin, so don't take that skin off. I call peaches the Goldilocks fruit. There's a couple fruits that I call Goldilocks because you want it just right. Not too soft, not too firm when you're shopping. You want to give it a little smell. It should smell sweet, but it shouldn't be pungent because that means it might be overripe. You want to have a little tenderness in there. Your thumb shouldn't go through the peach. It should be just just the perfect amount, medium of everything. Peaches are in season right now. When we're doing mindful cooking, healthy cooking, or honestly, just as a chef, this is how chefs shop. Use seasonal fruit, use seasonal produce. If you're using what's in season, then it's going to guarantee to have better flavor and be at perfect ripeness. The shorter that a fruit or produce travels to your store, to your home, the better quality that's going to be. So we're talking peaches here. Do you know, throw it in the chat, what is the state that grows the most peaches? Let's hear it. Let's see if we get it. What do we hear in Chef Kat?
I got folks saying Georgia.
Georgia. Lots of Georgia?
Lots of Georgia.
Anywhere else?
Well, Mike says Peachburg, but
Like, stop it. Gosh, anywhere else? Guys, It's
Georgia.
California. It's California. And I'm not just bragging because it's my home state. It's California. Georgia's up there, New Jersey, South Carolina. Liz is in New Jersey right now, so hats off to you, Liz, for having all the peaches. So I am saying that because the variety in New Jersey versus Georgia versus what you can get here in California, they might all be different. So when you're out looking for what great peach to get, local, fresh, that's what you're looking for. Personally, I'm a huge fan of donut peaches. They actually are small and look kind of like a donut, and they've got a great natural sweetness to them. A favorite brand of mine in California is Frog Hollow Farms. They've got really good peaches. Just whatever you can find, play around, grab a different couple varieties and see what you like. So I'm gonna start cutting up these peaches. And as I'm doing this, Liz, we've got blueberries, we've got peaches, we've got a lot of different fruit in these recipes today. Can you talk to us? I think of myself as an old myth thinking, well, if you're trying to do a diabetic friendly diet, that means you shouldn't have any fruit at all because fruit has sugar in it. So can you kind of talk about to us why we're using fruit right now?
Absolutely. Thank you so much for bringing that up. I know it's a misconception. I think what we have to do is differentiate between added sugar, which is sugar that's not naturally found in food, and the natural sugar that's found in foods like fruit. So the added sugar that is added to food, usually it's processed foods, things like pastries, cookies, candies, that sort of thing. That's the type of sugar that we know is linked to adverse health outcomes. That's the type of sugar that we need to keep to a minimum. But the natural sugar that's in fruit is not the only nutrient in fruit, right? We know fruit, I'm sure all of you already know this, but fruit is very nutritious. It's a really nutrient-dense food. So it doesn't just have natural sugars, it has fiber in it. It has tons of vitamins and minerals. Just to kind of give you a quick snapshot of some of the vitamins and minerals that you'll find in peaches, for example, that would be vitamin C, which we know helps to support our immune system and helps us to fight off any viruses or bacteria that could cause us to get ill. Another really great nutrient in peaches is also vitamin A. And vitamin A you'll find in a lot of fruits that have like a yellow-orange color. So even carrots have vitamin A. Vitamin A is really good for your eyes. It helps to maintain the health of your eyes. So whether it's peaches with its vitamin A and its fiber, or blueberries, which are also really high in fiber and also high in antioxidants, all of these fruits that have natural sugars in them, because they're complex carbs, which means that they come with all of these other nutrients, like this nice package of all the good stuff, they're not likely to cause blood sugars to spike too high. Now, that doesn't mean we should have a whole plate of it and not anything else.
That's my move. Okay, good to know. Good to know.
Combining it with protein and fat, and what that does is help actually balance our blood sugars and keep them, within normal limits. So that's kind of the trick. Eat fruit, combine it with food that has protein and heart healthy fats in it. So we're combining it with protein from the pork and additional fiber from the vegetables, and there's fat coming from the avocado and seeds. So that combination really helps keep your blood sugars balanced and prevents any major spikes. So that's like a quick tip. Don't eat fruit alone. Combine it with protein and healthy fat, and you will have to worry about any blood sugar spikes.
That is so clarifying. Do you see why these classes are my favorite? Liz is the best. That's such a confusing thing out there. You think all sugars are made the same, and it's so nice to know that. And it's nice to know you can still eat fruit. I'm from the Central Valley of California. Shout out anyone from Tulare County on the call. I see you, I am you. What that means is that I'm a total, complete fruit snob. I'm from the area in California where all the fruit is gone. And I'll admit, I've kind of tasted something like, that's not a peach. That's not an apple. I mean, it's pretty infuriating. But this time of year is bring so many good memories because in the valley right now, everything's growing, everything's fresh. There's peaches, nectarines, all the good stuff everywhere. And it's such a bummer to think, oh, wait, I can't have this. But you totally can have it. So it's good to know. I love having fruit in the morning with like an egg because you get your protein there. And then you're also, or Greek yogurt is another great way, non-fat Greek yogurt. So love to hear it. Thank you. We love fruit. We stand fruit. All the fruit. Kat, what's your favorite fruit?
Pineapple, probably.
Ooh.
I really like pineapple.
Girl from Hawaii. That makes sense.
That makes sense.
What was your favorite way to prepare pineapple growing up?
Oh my God, I would just eat it.
Just
cut it up
fresh.
and eat it.
I am one of those people, if I see a drink on a menu, especially I'm Mexican, I love agua frescas. Pineapple agua frescas are one of those things, like it's my Achilles heel. I have to have it.
For sure.
I'm just kind of wonkily cutting up my red onion here just because we're using 1/3 of a cup. So I kind of had it already go, and then I'm just going to give a rough chop here. I know red onion is polarizing. I understand you and I hear you. So here's something you can do if you feel like red onion is a little dominating. We have a grill pan set up here. This recipe does call for a grill, but obviously we can't have a grill here in the studio. Something about fire laws, I don't know. So we can't have one. So we have a cast iron grill pan. You can absolutely grill this peach, grill this onion, grill the green pepper before to add a dimension of char to your salsa to add even more flavor. So grilling this onion will give it a little flavor and kind of take down that harshness. Another thing you can do is soak this in some cold water for about 10 minutes before. It's not going to make it really wet and absorb all the water, but what it will do is kind of tame that little bit of that harshness to it. Kat, are you a red onion person? It's a safe space. I want to hear your truth.
I really like red onions. I like putting them in like burgers and stuff.
See, now I was going to say that's my biggest pet peeve. When I have a burger, I want white onion. Like traditional, like chopped up white onion. When I see a red onion on a burger, even though I'm sure it's delicious, I feel like we're putting on airs here. Like it needs to be white onion. It's a completely irrational reaction to an onion, but I feel passionately about this, y'all. White onion needs to be on burger. But I love red onions on salad. I really like red onions on a wedge salad. If you've ever had a wedge, a bit of an indulgent wedge salad, a nice Cobb salad. Let's see, I want the peaches to be the star. So, about that. We're looking for about 1/3 of a cup here, roughly. Just got my combos here. Take the rest of this. All right. We also have green bell pepper. I do know we've got half of one. I'm just going to take out the seeds here, pull it out, and also kind of pull out the little bit of the membrane here. Just pull it out, and I just tap it here over the trash just to get out those extra seeds there. It is a kind of distinctive flavor. If you don't like green bell pepper, which I know it is very polarizing, you could do poblano, which has got a little heat to it, but I don't mind that heat. You could also do, if you really don't mind the heat, jalapeno. You could do a jalapeno. I mean, that's a very traditional ingredient in the salsa. You could also do any other color of bell pepper that won't kind of have that same distinctive green bell pepper pungency. So orange, yellow, red, go for it. It's up to you. But I know green bell pepper is one of those divisive foods as well. So go and live your truth. Kat, are you a green bell pepper person?
I like all bell peppers in general, honestly. I'm a bell pepper person.
I like green bell pepper in a salad like this, but on its own, I'm not going for it like on a veggie platter.
That's fair.
At a party, what I'm looking for is like, I really like orange bell peppers. Don't ask me why. The flavor just hits different. I stand by that statement. I will stand by that statement. I feel like poblano would be really nice in here too. Be really nice grilled. So if you are doing this on the grill. And then we've got some cilantro. There is a percentage of the population, due to a little taste bud, I mean, I don't want to say defect. You're all beautiful and perfect in your own ways. But there is a percentage of the population who interprets cilantro, the flavor, as soapy. So if you know someone who says this tastes soapy, they're not crazy. Create a safe space for them. It's real. I'm luckily not one of those people. I love cilantro. Kat, are you doing cilantro?
I absolutely love cilantro.
I can't live without cilantro.
My dad has the soap taste
Does
gene.
he?
Yeah.
So is he picking it out?
He does not like cilantro, no matter however we try to convince him.
And that's fair.
That's
we have
very
to
fair.
create a safe space for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
That's understandable. It's a real thing. I didn't realize, and then I'm not just a chef, I'm also a food scientist. So when I was in my initial food science classes at college and then learning about this, I'm like, oh, it's real. And then I was like, oh, I have to apologize to a lot of people. I didn't realize, I thought it was just in people's heads. So there you go. One of the great things I love about cilantro is the stems. A lot of like parsley, basil, the stems can be really bitter. A good portion of the stem on cilantro you can absolutely include. So I'm just taking a bunch here and giving it a rough chop, and I didn't pull as much as those stems off. They're totally edible. My husband only likes the leaves, so what we do when I'm cooking with cilantro, I'll pull off the leaves for him. And I feel a lot of freedom now that I'm able to just cut up the stems. This is great. Appreciating it. Giving these a nice rough go here. And all right. Those are our salsa ingredients. This is beautiful. This isn't just good on pork chops. You can put this on fish, put this on chicken. This is a great summer produce salad that you can really spice up anything with. And then also adjust your produce. If you've got a lot of zucchini right now, grill up your zucchini, dice it up, put it in there. I'm sure you're at the point, if you're growing zucchini, where you can't have any more zucchini bread. You're at that point, so maybe grill it and add it into here. What we're gonna add now is just a little bit of olive oil, just to kind of give it a little gloss, and a little bit of vinegar. And I'm just gonna mix this around. I'm also gonna give it a few fresh pepper grinds. If you don't like red onion, shallot is another thing that you could use in here that would be a little milder. And that's really nice in salads. Now I'm gonna stir this up. There's one ingredient I haven't added because I don't think it needs it, and that is a little bit of sugar substitute. If you have fresh enough peaches, there's plenty of natural sweetness in those peaches that you don't need to add any more sweetness. So I'm not going to add it in. I have it here, but I am gonna admit it. With that, taste your food. Understand if it does need a little more sweetness, that's an option. Liz, as I stir this together, can you kind of bring us in on maybe some confusion about a healthy diet and sugar substitutes?
You know, there's been a lot of controversy in the media about this. There are researchers that are doing all types of, conducting all kinds of studies to look at how sugar substitutes may affect our health. You know, the answer, the bottom line is we don't know long term what the effects might be, but we know from what we know from the many years of research that we have on sugar substitutes. We know that overall it is safe for human consumption, but the recommendation is to, consume it in a moderate way. What does that mean? That means that you don't want to consume it at every meal or put it in every recipe. The FDA does have acceptable limits or acceptable consumption limits. So if you go on the FDA website and you type that in, it'll tell you a little bit about what that might look like. And honestly, it's typically more than what most people would ever consume. It's something for like 20 packets or something. So for most people, it's not an issue. And the only reason that there's even a limit in place right now is because for some people, consuming sweeteners can cause like digestive issues. So you might have a stomach or a little bit of gas. But a lot of what's in the media associating it with like heart disease and cancer and all that stuff, The problem with those studies is either they're doing the studies with animals, so they can't actually say that, they're consuming, like they're forcing the animals to have a lot of it more than you and I would consume. So it's really unintuitive. So say overall, if you're not used to reading the research and interpreting it, just consume them in moderation. In this recipe, there's so much natural sweetness coming from that nice ripe fruit that Chef Jenny is using, that for many people, it might not be necessary to sweeten it even more. We also like to encourage, not developing a very sweet palate. So sometimes we eat things that are really sweet all the time. We start craving more of them. That's it's not a solid conclusion, but it is good to try to train our palate not to crave things that are really sweet all of the time.
And you can't. And you can train your palate. There's been in times where I've used less salt, and you really start, your tolerance gets, you can change it. It's not set in stone. Even if you feel like you're really used to a lot of sweetness, it absolutely can slowly start reducing where your palate really gets adjusted. It's not set in stone. So that's something really encouraging to hear. Thank you, Liz. We're so happy you're here. We love that you're here. It's the best classes. So I've got my beautiful salad over here. I mean, stunning. One more. Let's give another look at that. Look at that. I love all of those colors. That is a bowl of summer to me. Beautiful. Love it, love it, love it. So we're going to move on to our dressing that's our salsa. Now we're going to move on to our dressing for our salad. So, and I've got a little bowl here. You can use a blender. I'm going to use a little immersion blender. You also can just stir this together. I've got some poppy seeds here, which I think is a nice touch. I'm going to add just one garlic clove. I do want to let you know that the garlic clove was omitted from the ingredients list, but it is in the recipe. So you can use one garlic clove, or you can use a teaspoon of garlic powder, whatever you have. I've got some fresh dill here. I feel like the kind of distinctive flavor of a really good kind of creamy buttermilk dressing is dill. If you're wondering why does this taste so good, or how do I get that classic ranch flavor, the answer is dill. It also really notches up eggs. I love adding dill to omelets, to egg salad, deviled eggs, whatever I'm doing with eggs, I always add dill. Any type of fish, salmon, we're in the Pacific Northwest here. It's salmon all day, every day. Dill and lemon, nothing better than that. So dill, maybe as an herb, you're not used to working with a ton. If you're one of the really lucky ones, you got some growing in your garden, hats off to you. I always kill my herbs. It's a real problem. I gotta go take a class or something, you guys. So I've got some dill here. I'm gonna give it a rough chop and just add it in. And then I'm gonna do the zest and juice of one lemon. If you don't have a little zester, a microplane like this, highly recommend. Citrus zest has the essential oils in it, and that's where the concentration of flavor is. So when we're trying to do more mindful or healthy cooking, zest, citrus zest, lime, lemon, orange, can really boost up the flavor of what you're cooking and maybe stop you from reaching for salt, reaching for oil or fat. So really recommend these guys. Great cheese, the great chocolate, the great fresh herbs, fresh nutmeg, fresh spices. So I'm just gonna go ahead and give a little turn. Everyone has their own strategy of this. I always put the microplane on top and go here. And then make sure you really want to stop at this white part here. That's the pith, and it's bitter, and you don't want to be grating pith into your whatever you're cooking, baking. Pith is really bitter. So we're just going to take this. I love that we're using the zest, because that means we're using all of the citrus. And if you are lucky enough to have a lemon tree, and they're all coming into season at the same time, what I do, because I grew up with a lemon tree, is I zest all the lemons. It's a project, put on a podcast. It's going to be a long one, but I zest all the lemons in ice cube trays. And then I juice the lemon and pour it into the trays. And then I have a freezer bag full of these concentrated lemon juice cubes. Throw them into baking, throw them into cooking, throw it into a pan with some chicken breast. It's a great hack. So if you have citrus in your backyard, highly recommend, try it out. All right, that's most of the zest. We're good. It's a generous amount. I wish you had smell-o-vision. We've got a very concentrated scent of lemon right now. And then I'm just gonna go ahead and squeeze my lemon into here. Grab those seeds. Love fresh lemon juice. You don't have fresh lemon juice, the bottled stuff's okay. It's good just to take away all the shame. We're all doing our best, we're all busy. I always say fresh is best because you've got the best flavor coming from that. But don't beat yourself too much up if you don't. It's all about what you got. Cooking's supposed to be fun, so we don't beat ourselves up for anything. That's what my motto is. And then we've got a little bit of buttermilk here. And that's also next to the dill, that kind of distinctive flavor of creamy dressings is buttermilk. It's not butter. It's not liquid butter. I think just hearing buttermilk, you think it might be high in fat. What it actually is the leftover dairy liquid when you're making butter. So all the fat's in the butter, so buttermilk is actually pretty low in fat, and then it's got a really acidic flavor because it's cultured. Just like yogurt, like kefir, like bacteria is giving that really kind of sour flavor. And so I really like that sweet acid flavor, and it's really punchy. So buttermilk is a great thing to use. We're not, and low fat, so that's great. So I've just got, again, if you don't have a blender, you can just whisk this all together. I've got a little immersion blender here, usually on the top. There's a switch here. You can dial in on how high you want. Always start low because you can go more. But if you start on high, you might have buttermilk dressing everywhere. And then I'm just gonna take this and kind of go around in my bowl and blend this guy up. Chef Kat, how are we doing out there? We have questions, concerns?
We're doing pretty good. Somebody asked about how thick their pork chops should be.
How thick your pork chops should be. Great question. Rather than thickness, we're going for ounce amount here. So 1 serving is 4 ounces. So 1 pound of pork chop cutlets will serve 4 people. So 4 ounces is what we're looking for. The thickness isn't as important as it is the weight, because that's the serving size here. And I've got my dressing. Ooh, it smells good. The middle schooler in me is transported to like post softball game where you go and get pizza and you dip it in ranch. That is the feels I'm having right now. This is much healthier though. Yeah, it smells like kind of dairy sweet, if you know what that smell means. Kind of just a little wonderfully pungent and sour. I don't think something can smell creamy, but it actually smells creamy. And then I'm just adding a little bit of fresh ground pepper. Chef Kat, what were we talking about fresh ground pepper before class?
Oh, that I'm having a hard time convincing some of my friends that fresh ground black pepper is better than pre-ground pepper, in my opinion.
So much better. One of the biggest things that can transform your kitchen is a pepper grinder. Fresh ground pepper is a much brighter, fresher, intense flavor, so really ups the flavor of your food. And again, if we're doing healthy, mindful cooking, you don't want to be adding all the fat, you don't want to be adding all the salt. So fresh ground pepper can really punch up the flavor and add a depth of flavor of whatever you're cooking. Chef Kat and I feel passionately about this. We were all riled up before class talking about this. We will talk to whoever needs to talk to convince you that you need a fresh ground pepper grinder. So, beautiful dressing here. And I did this now because as this sits, it's just gonna get more and more flavor. You definitely can make this the day before, sitting in the fridge overnight. Yum, 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 yum. So I have my big bowl of dark leafy greens here. I'm gonna start cutting up this broccoli that I have, and then I'm gonna have this avocado. While I do that, Liz, can you go over some of these dark leafy greens and the sunflower seeds and kind of inform us why all the kind of one or two hits about the great nutrient components of these ingredients?
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Jenny. I think that's really great to point out. You've probably heard recommendations to consume more dark leafy greens and wondered why. What is the difference between that and like a light colored green? Well, color is a really great guide that you can use to determine the nutrient content of food. So the more color, the more vibrant the color, probably the more nutrients it contains. Specifically, dark leafy greens are really high in vitamins like K. So vitamin K, which is really important for blood clotting. It also, especially spinach, is really high in vitamin A, which we had just talked about being in peaches as well. Really good for eye health and really important for eye health. And spinach also contains folate, which is one of the B vitamins that's important in producing red blood cells. And also, it prevents neural tube defects in pregnancy. So if you're of childbearing age, the folate that's in spinach is really important to consume to prevent those kinds of effects. Also, the fiber content is a lot higher in those dark leafy greens than you'll find in like an iceberg lettuce, for example. But taste-wise, might not be your favorite. So if you're kind of new to dark leafy greens, not a big fan, what you could do is start mixing some of the lighter greens with the darker greens. And again, getting your palate a little more used to that peppery flavor or the more complex flavors of those dark leafy greens.
Yeah.
So those are overall the really great benefits of consuming more of those. And use citrus in this recipe. One of the hacks or one of the recommendations we always make is when you combine citrus juice or citrus fruits with dark leafy greens, what you're going to do is allow the vitamin C that's in that citrus fruit to help the iron that's also rich in dark leafy greens to absorb better in your body. That's because iron in meat absorbs really well, but iron is better, not so much. Unless you add citrus, you actually help to enhance the absorption of the iron from those dark leafy greens. So really good to combine citrus with dark leafy greens when you can.
And that's so funny you just said that, because from a chef's perspective, I was going to tell you all, I always pair citrus with dark leafy greens because I find the acid neutralizes some of that, for lack of a better word, grassiness of, say, spinach, kale, broccoli, Brussels sprouts, all kind of those greens. So now I know there's actually a reason for it. Huzzah! You guys, we're finding out so much right now. This is great. I like to have a smoothie in the morning, and I do big handfuls of dark leafy greens in there, and I always have orange, lemon, lime, because it really makes that kind of intense green flavor much more subtle. So citrus, dark leafy greens, it was meant to be. I've just got half an avocado here, and I am scooping this out. I find that the ripeness period for avocados is about 10 minutes, and either you're existing completely hard or disintegrating. It is a cruel, cruel produce, and I actually think it waits for you to leave the house and then it decides to become ripe. That's the only way it works. If you watch it, it won't do it. So, a little trick. If you have a brown paper bag, put your avocados in there. It'll take a day or two, but throw a banana, throw an apple, a pear in there, and those fruits will actually release some natural gases trapped in the bag and help ripen your avocado faster.
Because putting it in the fridge also slows down the ripening.
Yes, alternately, phenomenal point, Chef Kat. If I feel like it's just about to go, but I'm going to be using it in 2 or 3 days, putting it in the fridge kind of stops it, really slows it down. I mean, it doesn't freeze it in time, but it'll definitely slow it down significantly. So make the avocado work for you guys. Don't you be out there working for the avocado, okay? So I'm just going to be slicing this. We're just using a half. And like Liz said, we have all these great beneficial fats in here. Got my avocado, blueberries, toasted sunflower seeds. Make sure you give them a little toast or roast. It really adds a depth of flavor. Anytime I cook with nuts or seeds, I always do that. We have our feta cheese. And then with my avocado here, just because it's going to start to oxidize with the air, which means it's going to start to brown, there's acid in here. Acid will help me. So I'm just going to toss my avocado, since I cut it now, a little bit in that dressing. And it's just going to help me prevent it from getting too overly brown before we assemble this together. So I'm going to toss these greens with the dressing right before we serve it. If we do it now, they'll be soggy by the time we're ready to serve. So that's ready to go. We've got our peach salsa. We've got our pork chops over here. It's almost party time, y'all. How we doing out there, everyone? We okay?
We've actually got a great question here about pork chops. So
Yes.
if we are cooking, like, say, larger or thicker pork chops,
Yeah.
how would you adjust the cooking time for that?
So that's a great question. I just have a grill pan right here, and I'm going to turn it on and start warming it up because that thick cast iron can take a minute. I've got my pork chops over here. Yeah, so that's a great question. I've got some ground black pepper, oregano, and garlic powder, and I'm just going to go ahead and sprinkle this on both sides of these pork chops. So the way you tell it's done, for me, the greatest lifesaver, the greatest hack is using a food thermometer. It's no fail. It's simple. You stick it in, it tells you what the temperature. So when I cook protein, what I'm looking for is temperature, not necessarily fill. I can get pretty close based on feel. And when I say feel, I mean, you know, there's an old trick that old-timey butchers would tell you how you cook a steak, you fill in between your knuckles. Line 5 people up and show their hands. We all have different fat in our knuckles, so that one doesn't necessarily work for me. I'm a scientist, I'm a very literal thinker. So I have my favorite food thermometer here. What we're looking for is 145 degrees. It is something to know that the temperature, the recommended temperature, like over a decade ago and for a long time used to be higher. So then people now might necessarily think if you're in a restaurant, you get pork, like a pork chop, and it's a little pink in the center. We're like, well, I can't eat this. As long as it's cooked to 145, you're good. So that's what I go by. I don't go by color. I don't go by feel. I go by temperature. And what we're looking for is 145. Pull it off and let it rest for 3 minutes. And I just have my pork chops here on a paper towel, and the reason is I want to get some nice grill marks on here, and if the pork is really wet, then it's going to steam. It's not going to get that good char amount on it. So I always kind of dab my protein off when I'm ever about to sear it, if I'm trying to get a nice color on it, because we just want that moisture gone. I've got a little bit of cooking spray here, just a little. Do not douse this in oil. If you're doing this on the grill, you would kind of prepare your grill the same way. I just want to get this hot here. And then Liz, as I'm about to add these on, I'm looking about 3 to 4 minutes each side. Again, I want a nice char color, and I am looking for 145 degrees Fahrenheit. So Liz, pork. Liz told me the most amazing fact before class, which I actually had no idea. Did you know pork is considered a red meat? I had no idea. Is anyone else shocked, or am I the only person who did not know that? I thought pork was considered a white.
I didn't know that.
Did you not?
I didn't know that.
Anyone else? Is the cheese stand alone? So pork is considered a red meat. So Liz, talk on that. Talk about the benefits of pork. Talk about what that means for our diet and consumption.
Yeah, interesting. It's very deceiving, right?
Oh.
It's not red. So you wouldn't, like right away assume that it's not a red meat. But the reason it's a red meat is because it contains more of this protein called myoglobin. Has more of that than chicken or fish, and that leads us to classify it as a red meat. Now, red meat has a lot of negative connotation attached to it. We do know that eating a lot of red meat is not the best for our health, and it's really recommended to eat it, minimally. We want to eat more um, poultry, lean poultry, and fish more often than we eat red meat, and that includes, beef, pork, lamb, any of the other red meats as well. Pork, like most meats, is a really great source of protein. In just a small serving of about 3 to 3.5 ounces, we're going to get a really great source of protein. Protein is great for keeping or preserving muscle. We know as we age every year, we lose a lot of muscle. So one of the best ways to keep the muscle on you, keep your metabolism, functioning really well, is to eat enough protein. So just, the portion that is in the recipe today is a perfect portion. You're going to get about 25, 26 grams of protein from that. The other thing to keep in mind, if you eat any red meat, whether that's pork or beef or lamb, try to go for the lean cuts. In this recipe, we are using a lean cut. So you want to go for basically like a center loin chop or a tenderloin or a pork chop. Another great way to visually, determine this is looking at how much fat and how much marbling is on red meat.
Yeah.
So cooking with fat when you can is another great practice. Overall, enjoy red meat, but moderately, minimally, a few times a month, and that includes beef and lamb and pork. So not just pork, but any red meat that you consume, you can enjoy it, but just minimally. And I see some of the questions about it being advertised. It's an it's a marketing thing, but it's not based in science.
That's what I said, y'all. I said that. I'm like, pork, the other white meat. It's not a white meat. Yeah. That's what I thought. Yeah.
It's definitely tricky, but keep that in mind. And today we're showing you how to eat it in a really healthy manner. So it can be enjoyed, but moderately, a couple times a month, along with other veggies, is totally fine.
Fantastic. Thank you, Liz. That was great. I mean, that is a fact that is going to be festering for the rest of the week. I'm like, pork is red meat. I completely had no idea. I mean, we're learning something here today, guys. This is good stuff. And a note about these pork chops is that we did trim them. They had a pretty thick fat cap around them, which is fine. Depending on your application, you might want that. But because we're trying to be a little leaner, we actually, Chef Kat, in fact, trimmed that off just because we knew we were going to be here contained in our grill pan and that it was going to be pretty non-stick and good enough. So you do have the ability, just whatever protein you get. I know it's not everyone's favorite thing to touch raw meat, but it is good to learn how to take a really sharp knife and just kind of go on the outside and trim off some of that extra fat. You aren't stuck with the fat that you buy in the store. You do have that control. Chef Kat, lay it on me.
People were wondering about if you were making this on a grill, like on a fire grill. How would we go about that?
Yeah, so just kind of prepare your grill like you would normally. Clean it, lightly oil it just to make sure you get some of that nice stick effect. And then for these, I think what's important is that you want to have medium heat, or at least have a cool side off that you can pull it to if the heat gets too hot. The reason for that is when you are cooking, and I'm sorry, that looks beautiful. I don't know if you guys are seeing these lovely char marks on here. Yum. But when you're using leaner meat, you don't have as much fat to kind of baste it and keep it moist. So that doesn't mean, again, we are destined to have dry pork chops. The way around this is doing kind of medium heat and cooking it quickly and taking it off. So a big thing that's going to help us here is not guessing and using our food thermometer. The food thermometer is going to help us keep in check not to overcook it. And then if you're on the grill, again, you don't want it at the highest heat. You want to be able to have a cooler spot that you can take it off. Maybe get a char and then pull it. But these cast iron grill pans are great. Not all of us live in a place where you can have a grill or space for a grill. So cast iron holds heat really, really well. It holds it in, and so you don't have as many fluctuations of heat. What that translates to is you're always getting a really nice, consistent kind of grill mark. That's the hardest thing I feel like about barbecuing is trying to keep the heat consistent. So grill pans will really do that for you. And I mean, I feel like we're getting a pretty decent char on here. I'm happy with it. And you can see this pork is not sticking. I'm gonna put this over here, and we're just gonna do our initial, I think, look at that. Yum, 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 yum. So I'm gonna just take my food thermometer, stick it in, and kind of get an idea of where we're at. We're at around 120 here. We're almost there, so don't walk off. Once you're only about 20 degrees away, it can go quick. So I'm gonna the thing to remind yourself is with the food thermometer, I'm gonna give these another flip, getting that good consistent heat on here. If you stick your food thermometer in and it's not at temp yet, make sure to go wipe this clean or give a little rinse, because you just had your food thermometer in under temp meat. Same thing if you're doing your Thanksgiving turkey and it's way under temp and it's a couple hours before it's done, you want to rinse it off before, make sure you don't have cross-contamination. So I'm just going to go over here and give it a quick little rinse. Wipe this clean. We'll be almost there. So while I'm waiting for these guys to finish up, I'm gonna now dress over here my broccoli and my spinach with our dressing. I'm gonna pour that, oh, this dressing smells so good, y'all. Love, love this. This would be also a really good dressing to serve with like a vegetable platter. If you have a party, I know kids are going back to school soon, this would be a great one to make at the beginning of the week, and then you could serve it with veggies, cut up veggies during the day. So I'm gonna just take this here and toss together my broccoli and spinach. And then this salad will serve about six servings. We're only looking for about a cup here. We've also got our peach salsa. So lots of different colors, lots of flavors.
It's like
so
the perfect summer dish.
Isn't it so summery? Don't you want to have like a summer picnic now, Chef Kat? I feel like we should be wearing like straw brim hats for this class, like summer dresses. Like those are the vibes I'm getting. So I'm just gonna go ahead and fill this again. And look at that. At temp, that's how quick it went. We don't want to overcook. That's how fast that went. So this is where a food thermometer really helps you out. I would still be poking this if I was trying to figure out knuckle fat to forget it. Got a nice platter here. We want to give these guys about 3 minutes of just sitting off the grill and resting. You ever want to cut into protein right off the heat? You're going to lose a lot of your juice that way. You kind of need to let it recirculate. So we got our beautiful, I mean, just come on. Let that sit here. We've got our peach salsa, heat off. And then I'm gonna plate this salad now. Right over on a beautiful platter. I'm loving the broccoli pieces in here. Raw broccoli for me is hard in really large pieces, but kind of finely chopped like this, I think it's so nice. Okay, so we've got those ingredients. I've got my blueberries. I'm loving colors. We love colors. So look at all these beautiful. And then I'm gonna do my avocado, which has not browned because I've got it in that dressing, helping it prevent that browning. I'm an avocado fiend, so I will be eating all of these. I claim dibs. And then toasted sunflower seeds here over. Make sure we're using unsalted. So that's a way you can easily sneakily get too much sodium in your diet is if you buy salted nuts or seeds. These are unsalted. So those are going to provide a really nice crunch. You need competing textures in dishes. You can't just have something all mushy or all hard. So that's going to provide a really nice crunch. And finally, we've just got a little bit of feta here. It's really punchy. I think it's going to add a nice brightness to this. There is reduced feta cheese that you can buy. You can honestly, you've got a lot going on here. If you're not a feta person, or if you just want to save those calories, you can also omit the feta if you want. Look at that. Hello, Summer. Look at that beautiful salad. Serve this at a party. You're gonna get all the accolades, y'all. And then I've got my oregano, my garlic powder, seasoned beautiful pork chops here. I'm just gonna go ahead and add that beautiful peach salsa just over the top. I'm gonna use a spoon. So the little bit of that heat of the pork chop is gonna kind of release some of the juices out of the peaches and really kind of grate a little sauce over it. Peaches, 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 peaches. Oh, what's that? We don't own the rights to that? Don't sing that? Okay, I got it, guys. Absolutely right. Let's see. All right. Woo, look what we did. In under an hour, look how beautiful this is. All right, Kat, which one should I get? I mean...
the one with the most grill marks on it.
I feel like this one maybe does. Oh. Okay, beautiful pork chop. And then now some of this salad. Come on. This doesn't feel like healthy eating. This just feels like good eating. Like, this doesn't feel like I'm sacrificing anything. Look how beautiful that is. Okay, the hardest part. I did this for you all. It's just a responsibility of the show. Got to taste it. Oh, beautiful. Come on. Mmm. Pork chop dance. Yum, yum, yum. That's really good. Okay, I'm going to say something wild right now, but I feel like I should speak my truth. I don't mind the green bell pepper. It's actually really good in here. Usually it's not my favorite, but man, that is good. All right, and some of our salad. I'm really excited about this one. Okay, that dressing is going on everything from now on. Oh my God, that dressing is a winner. Woo! Add that to everything. Crackers, eggs, all of it. That dressing is a keeper. That's really good. Man, I kind of just want to keep eating, but I do need to wrap up the show. I'm going to be distracted, but I need to compose myself. Blueberry. Ooh. Y'all, I had so much fun with you guys. Did you have fun? That's the most important thing. Cooking should be fun. I hope you did. I hope you learned something today. I definitely did. Pork's red meat. I'm going to be telling everybody. I'm going to be holding a sign up.
Let's look at Lena's plates here.
Lena, yes. Woo! Well done. Anyone else cooking along with us got a plate to show? No? Lena, I mean, have you tasted that dressing? That dressing's insane. It's still right? It's amazing. Thank you, everyone who came today. I want to thank the wonderful Chef Kat. So thank you, Chef Kat. Thank you, Liz, and to the incredible people at the American Diabetes Association for doing such a really hard, really amazing work, for keeping us all healthy and giving us resources when we might feel really overwhelmed. Diabetesfoodhub.org. I'm going to say it one more time. Diabetesfoodhub.org is the place to go. They've got so many recipes, so much incredible information for you. If you're newly diagnosed, have a family member newly diagnosed, please go there. Everything you need to know is there, including more great recipes. Want to tell you, if you had fun today, on 8/15, we are going to be doing Greek chicken and whipped feta flatbreads. Greek chicken and whipped feta flatbreads. That sounds amazing. My mouth's drooling, so I hope you come for that. Until next time, you all, favorite days are the days we get to see you, so thank you for being a part of our family and for showing up. And for next class, keep on cooking, okay? We'll see you later. Bye, everyone.